Well, hello everybody. It is getting worse and worse by the day. Breaking critical alert for all friends, followers, founding members of the PCC, Party of the Canadian Constitutionalists. We've embarked on residential school genocide outside the realm of Canada's authority. Canada utilizes its own ICJ called the International Commission of Jurists, which largely means no to any international law. It's not the real International Court of Justice. It's not the real UNSCP 5, because officially today, Justin Trudeau bans all Canadians from any touch to Russia, the United Nations Security Council permanent member, founding ally of World War II's victorious allies, the Five. This is not to be for any country in the world. Justin Trudeau says, I don't give a shit about international law. We, since Harper 2012, under the authority of the Crown, have given that to the United Kingdom, specifically the royal family. What does that mean? It means Canadian Indians will never see justice. Is that the case, folks? No. I remain with one last channel directly to Russia, the P5 member. I have only one left. Oleg Stepanov, currently Canada's ambassador to Russia. As long as that lasts, we have that direct email secured for the chiefs. Even if it's terminated, I am sure Xi Jinping, as long as Canada doesn't forsake China. It's not there yet. Will it get there? I don't know, folks. All we can do is march forward. I'm going to tell everybody clearly, Canadian media is not banned in Russia. They're operating in Russia. CBC radio and its propaganda goes out to all Russians, but Canadians don't have RT News anymore, no longer. Completely banned in Canada via Justin Trudeau. Further, provincially elected MLA Randy Hillier officially charged today. A provincial member who didn't follow the Crown. Not only did Doug Ford have him kicked out of the party, now Justin Trudeau has him charged, but not Privy Council lifetime member Maxime Bernier. hypocrisy. There are rules. There are customary crown law rules distinguishing human from inhuman, slave from first class, merchant from first class. This is our system in all of its completely corrupted entirety. We are the current Nazi regime of the world, Canada, leading, founding design. The Indian Act of 1876 has gone out all over the world for colonial designs since that time going forward, even very much alive and well today, where you see a vast majority of the human population subjugated by it. This is the point where if you don't want to hear anything that's going to offend you, you should probably leave my video. As we go through residential school genocide, I'm going to be doing a video later today, an historical story as promised. I will be doing that within a few hours of this video, but I want this out there. I want Canadians and First Peoples to know we now have only one direct email to Russia, one left. I'm probably the only Canadian with a direct tie to the UNSCP-5 Russia. One left. That's it. And there is literally nothing that we can do if Trudeau takes it another step further. I just want everybody to know the United States of America officially rolls out a statement, the White House, the constitutionality of what Joe Biden has done, while not criminal, well, privy of his executive power, is not privy of the Constitution of the United States of America. His own Democrats have renounced what he said. RT is alive and well in the United States of America. They are not banned. They're not banned. Everything Canada has done by order of the royal family in international relations and real breaches of international law is done by the UK. Now, I just played for you right here on Alexa. I played for you Fanfare of the Common Man by the President's Own. That's the name of the Marine Corps band. Public privy to every common Joe Jane in the world. The United States does not want to see any copyright placed on that video. That's the truth. They spread the common man, the equality of person, everywhere in the world. London, the royal family says, no, that's to be banned. We are the Commonwealth. You will sit in your role as first, second, third class. And if it's savage Indian, and this is the part, I am sorry, folks. I am sorry. If you don't want to hear it, leave now. Nigger, chink, spick, gook, aborigine, guinea, wop, and the list goes on and on and on. And do you know the historical roots of these said terrible, loaded with connotation words? Do you know where they come from? The colonial empires. Niger, nigger. You can go through all of them. Chink, Chinese. You can look at the historical roots of the British Empire, the French Empire, the Spanish Empire, the Portuguese Empire, the Danish Empire, the German Empire, which was the newest on the scene, who has the least amount of racist words, limited to the Jews. Kike. Most of the other racist, hate-loaded, when I say connotations, that's like a spell of those divine elite who believe they are gods over people and they inhumanize people. That is the Nazification. That is the neo-nationalist. That is a staple of every colonial power. There are 7. The Japanese too. The Japanese too. They have theirs for Southeast Asia. Absolutely, the Chinese. You can all learn the history. You're going to learn it through residential school genocide as we go through all of them in their entirety, where 65% of the world's population is subjugated by said powers. Now, the United States doesn't run like that anymore, regardless of the overriding power of the executive, Joe Biden, who is the President of the United States, who can ignore everything about his Constitution. He's attempted to breach it 8 times since his presidency began. Absolutely the worst in international relations and international law any presidency has ever seen, likely. I'm sorry, folks, but how the media doesn't report this, even though the White House stands up and says, no, what Joe Biden's saying and doing, that's not America. Don't worry, Democrats, quit leaving our party, stop. As the world shuns America, specifically Joe Biden, lover of the crown, threw his mother, his own mother, in the garbage, pissed all over her memory. She hated the crown. There's a great story about Joe Biden's mother who refused to sleep in a bed that the Queen herself had slept in. When Joe rose to political success, she said, "No, son, I refuse to sleep in that bed." She took another room, a much lower quality room, because she didn't care, including sleeping on the floor. She would rather sleep on the floor. At the time, an elderly woman, long since past her best days behind her. But not Joe Biden. Joe Biden is a traitor to the memory of all the Irish who in their history fell to the sword of colonialism. In that racist, atrocious example that everyone in the world, for the Scottish and Irish, if you don't look at that history and say, whoa, I don't know what to tell you. Talk about dehumanizing, the inhumanity. I don't know what to tell you. It is scary, folks. Ian Bjorkman, this message at this point is for you. I know you're loyal, my friend, and I do want to do the Russia trip, but I am not certain by the time we're still scheduled to go this summer, when we get to that point after June 28th, when we have to visit that. And yes, you're right, we can go to the States and fly out, no problem. But my friend, it's the coming back and trying to re-enter Canada. I am not so sure, as Oleg Stepanov clearly releases while he can. I have only one contact with Russia left, folks. One left. Then I have to go through China to be able to communicate with Russia. That is problematic when you don't have a direct line to each and every UNSC. Your country is no longer operating in any real international law or any international relations. And being Canadian is probably one of the worst things to be going forward. What does it mean for Canadian citizens? What does it mean for the First Peoples? It's not good, folks. It's scary. It's outrageous. It's outrageous what's happening all across Canada. That Emergency Measures Act, the registration by the police, I've talked about this, the gun registries, the long rifle registries, the prohibition of handguns and deemed to be prohibited weapons, all of that and those registries of those years, the transformation, the abuse of that registered system, the years after, forever and a day by the RCMP, never stopped. It went on for decades after, folks. There's still people being abused by it. The registry may have ended, but the RCMP had that power, that registry. They downloaded it into their system. They used it for the Crown. A complete Nazi-style policing system that Germany utilized. Today, in the worldwide example, Canada is the only other one. Overlap, municipal, provincial, and federal, with absolutely no oversight. None whatsoever. Summary conviction, you can look at how many people have died at the hands of policing in Canada. It's summary conviction. It's a death penalty summary. Good luck ever getting any real justice. I have many cases you can look at of people executed by the police, summary convicted to death, and little to nothing ever happens to those police officers. We're not even comparable to the United States of America. Not even comparable. We're much, much worse in summary conviction. USA has a registered death penalty. You get a due process that leads you to that. In Canada, we don't have the death penalty. They summarily convict you by police. Much, much more often than the United States per person per capita. That's truth. That's truth. Undeniable truth. Undeniable truth. Do you know how many First Peoples have disappeared and died by the hands of the RCMP in history? Much, much worse than the United States of America. You see the drop-off post-1975 in America while you watch the uptick in convictions and crimes in absolute summarily executed, convicted by police. First stage. No judge, no jury, no due process. You were convicted. They killed you. Even if it meant picking you up and dropping you off. Far from any civilization in frigid cold temperatures. We have no chance of life. Happened many times. Many, many times. Our country is in one of the darkest times ever seen. I'm going to tell everybody, if you don't know already, I'm triple vaccinated. I have zero issues with my heart or any other problems with me. Haven't been sick. Our grandson here, Tina's grandson, COVID-19, he was sick for days. I was around him. I helped take care of him. I wore no mask as a triple vaccinated. I never even got so much as a headache, a cold, a cough. Tina had a headache for a day. We were thinking about reporting, but nothing came of it. Now she's Treaty Indian. The grandson's Treaty Indian. He was sick for the 2 days. He recovered just like my daughters. And he was COVID-19 positive. Am I a Superman? No. I'm an average guy. I enjoy alcohol. I smoke. I do all kinds of things unhealthy. I should have went down if everything that everybody says is true. My heart should be wrecked or there should be some long-term implications. I don't support the convoy. I never have. Never got involved because I didn't like the fictional accounts. But does that mean to persecute and prosecute everybody? Because the last time I checked, most, absolutely all our Privy Council members from today all the way back through till 1876 under the Indian Act are guilty of major crimes against the First Peoples in Canada. Huge crimes that come with attached death penalty. That's the truth. We're persecuting convoy people, persecuting provincial politicians. Somehow the federal Privy Council politicians are immune. They're okay. It's okay. But independent MLAs who didn't continue with the Crown are now to be prosecuted. Who's next? I have a good suspicion a lawyer, a former Soviet Union educated lawyer, I think he's going to be next. Why do Canadians sit back and just let this roll on forward? I don't know what the Chiefs are going to do. Post-April Fools, which is just 3 days away, people are going to get the email. All the First Peoples, I've already selected who you are. We haven't contacted you yet. We have our list. you're going to get an email reached out from me with the truth, the fear, but it's your choice to accept, your choice to take your grouping of chiefs and contact them. You will get your educational package after acceptance. You'll be able to present that to the First Peoples. There's an inside for your eyes only education, but post that should you accept. We utilize the emails I provide you. You do not, and I repeat, you do not share them with anybody. As funny as those emails may look to you, you've never heard of those domains or those handles. Those are official, and those are not to go out to anybody except the chiefs. Now, if the chiefs want to rat to NDP, Liberal, Conservative, so be it. It will all come back to me anyway. It'll all come back to me anyway. And if the government of Canada wishes to ostracize me, pull one of their summary convictions, so be it. That's my life. If this is too much for you, the fear of it, it's okay, I understand. Just politely say no in the returning email. One way or another, we're going to get the job done. I've devoted so many years of my life, and I will give my life as promised if that's what it takes. I won't be subjugated and made fearful, because there's a line we all must cross. And when we go back in history, Colonial War I and II, there was a line drawn. There were many sacrifices made. People let things escalate. Justin Trudeau says Vladimir Putin is responsible for all the atrocities of today. He's responsible for all the economic problems today. Not me, not my government, not our system. It has nothing to do with Canada. It's all Putin. That's not the truth. He's a good boogeyman for Justin Trudeau to shift blame. He's a good boogeyman for the Crown power to get away with genocide. It just so happens it has to be right now. Do you think this is all accident? Canada faces a South Africa realization that happened in 1984 that led to our criminal code being rewritten to basically make decolonization illegal in Canada. Read your criminal code. You will find it there in how much time you do for what crimes you do. Tearing down a colonial statue can land you 10 years in prison. Genociding human beings, the worst crime in the world, comes with a slap on the wrist. You'll get 6 months, and you know what worse? You could end up with just probation. Read your criminal code. We left the ICJ officially in 1993. Went with the Crown's new bullshit court, Canada's bullshit international court. We are exactly like Nazi Germany. We are Nazified. We are neo-nationalist. Because we were the first ones before Germany, folks. Read your 1876 Indian Act and then go read the 1933 Enabling Act of Germany. Go back pre-World War II, before the 1941 Atlantic Charter, before 1942's monumental transformation of a lot of these states, which Germany was one, already working on it. They already had the system in place that they were going to impose on Germany. Japan, same thing. The Allies had already worked it out while the war was still going. And in 1945, that was all cemented, signed, sealed, and certified. Canada remains the first and the worst, the template for all of them, even though those countries are removed. When you look at Germany pre-1939 constitutionally, you will find the original definition of chancellor, which also matches to a T the definition of Canada's Governor General. Russia has lieutenant governors. USA has governors. They define them completely different than Canada does. Canada defines them exactly like Germany did pre-1939. Different nouns, exact same definition. Alarm bells, they went, oh no. The music, oh no. We're not looking at that. Fuck you and fuck your constitutionalism. That's some shit-ass American crap. That's some dirty Russian shit. You will hate Americans and you will hate Russians, and we all know it's true as Canadians. It's unfortunate for Americans they don't know this, but if you poll Canadians today how they feel about Americans, and you're going to find they feel about as the same as they feel about Russians today, which is not good at all. And Americans have no idea. Very few Canadians actually like Americans. It's institutionalization. We've got to keep going. We've got to educate all the First Peoples. We have to educate Canadians. It's a powerful adversary, a global NWO, largely by all the colonials of World War I and II. Ally access alike, allies who were decimated, and then the non-colonials had to come in and bail them out. France was wiped out largely under German occupation. London bombed, blasted, decimated. The only lifeblood they had was from Russia and USA. And I promise you folks, if China, Russia, and USA had said screw you, like if Russia and USA never did the Atlantic Charter of 1941, not the propagated Crown Colonial Atlantic Charter by Joe Biden and Boris Johnson 2021, which is NWO, the world would be a different place. Russia and USA made that happen. Japan, Germany, if Russia and USA had stayed down and stayed back and just held their own, which Russia would have held their own, they would have responded to Germany. Likely, the colonials would all be gone. It would be one colonial power called Germany, all under the same system as Canada. Canada today. Learn the truth. Learn what's real. It's getting scary, folks. I'm going to keep doing my residential school genocide. It'll be up to you April 1st. All of you are going to get that email. Why I waited for April 1st, Fool's Day? It's not because you're all fools. It's because the First Peoples Convoy from the National Chief and Mary Simon is going on April Fool's Day. You can watch my video on the history of April Fool's Day in the Catholic system and the fact that they stole astrology, specifically in relation to the sun and the moon, so that they could redo their calendar. They stole historical teachings of the first peoples of South Central America, specifically Aztecs and Mayans, on their monumental scientific works in astrology. Catholic Church stole that, redid their calendar off the backs of the first people. Because Catholics don't worship the sun. They have a Jesus. The problem was Jesus' days and celebration, because the calendar was screwed, flawed, kept moving back the astrological signs, and by the 1500s, it was 11 days away on Easter, and people started to realize there's something flawed with the church. You can remove what was the Dark Ages, all education, all literacy from the people, which is what the church and all colonial empires did, to dumb down the population to keep you censored and stupid, which they're doing today. They're doing it today in Canada. You're not to hear any other sides except for the propagated Crown government side. Astrological signs were moved in the 1500s. That's April Fool's Day. Catholic Church and colonials fooled y'all. You're now under a new astrological calendar that was changed, stolen from an extinct peoples. But you're not going to hear that in history. Whoa, that's too much. Don't do it. don't tell the truth. April Fools. The first people are the fools. All those following Catholicism are the fools. The colonials are all laughing at you still to this day. It always was church under state. If you ever want to see the grand rollout of the truth, go to Parlement de Quebec. The front face, you go and start researching top to bottom. You can see the angels from God handing the swords to the divine ruler over all of you, a man. You'll see it go through the army, and then you find the church. And then from there, you go out into the grounds as you go down. The savage Indian, he's below the dirt. No good, and women, and they're wearing leaf clothes because they're savage and disgusting. But even worse than that is the third-class peasants who have the church above them, who were empowered by your divine God politicians. The military and police are above that. And you got your church, and everybody working hard in there, and they're getting their weed, and they're collecting resources, and they give it to God. You work for the God. Well, who's the God? Well, that's your divine ruler. This is what Canada is. It's what Nazi Germany was. It's what motivates populations to do heinous, heinous crimes. That first-class elite is by God. They're not wrong. They are God. Jesus is just a man. Muhammad's just a piece of shit. Moses, he's garbage. I'm your God. And they state it, they believe it, they tell each other it, they sit there in the Crown Customary Law, and they gravitate to it. Justin Trudeau gets high on it as his father before him. All of them get high on it. And they dehumanize you to justify what they do to people, how much pain and misery you're put through. Canadians like that system. I guess the First Peoples like that system. I don't think so. I think if the proper education's brought forward, people would resist. We got to keep fighting. I don't know, as I find myself in basically communist style ruling of a divine leader. Even worse, because they believe they are God. Justin Trudeau believes he is designed and brought to earth from God, as his father was, his whole family. They are righteous. They're better than all of you because God put them there. Because he is God. That's what he believes. This system is sick. It's perverted. The monarchical system is perverted. It always will be perverted. It's why they came up with republicanism a very long time ago. And then real democracy. Why don't Canadians want that? Why do you give so much executive power to divine elites who believe they're gods? And they do. They'll lie to you and tell you not, but they're allowed to lie to you. You have to lie to the average people. You have to lie to the first people. How else can you get away with genocide, right? The Germans did it too. But how does Canada get away with it? Well, it's okay because I'm a god. Remember, you must crack a few eggs to make an omelet. They dehumanize you. They do it by justifying that they are divine. It's God's will because they are God. That's a sick system. People under that are sick. I was sick. USA is designed to fight that. Russia's designed to fight that. Are they going to come together and get it done? I don't know, folks. It's scary. But I do know that it's been done since World War II many, many times, so many more times. When you look at the history of mankind and everything we've done in the last 2,000 years, it's been done at an accelerated rate beyond anything ever before World War II. And it's threatened. The Allies are threatened. USA is under direct threat. So is Russia. And it's not from either or. It's largely from those same colonial powers who have literally 65% of the world under their thumbs. Way worse than anything Russia and USA have ever done in their histories. Everybody else is much, much worse. And if we give the power to them, if we have USA and Russia going toe-to-toe, you can kiss all federalism goodbye. If USA thinks they're going to remove Russia and destroy Russian federalism, they will destroy the 50 states as well too. That's the design of the Crown. They want to destabilize those powerhouses. It's a yin and a yang. USA can't destroy Russia. Russia can't destroy USA. It's good to have the competition. Whether or not people like to hear that or not, if you take away all the competing forces and you're left with that oligarchy, that crown oligarchy, oh my. You're going back to a time just like the Parliament of Quebec not so long ago, folks. Not so long ago. Only a few hundred years ago. Something the American people fought back against. Something the Russian people fought back against. Often they get it wrong. They get confused. America is 250 years removed from having to fight colonials. They're 250 years removed from it. That's how long independence has been gone. It's a threat. The founding fathers couldn't see so far into the future. They thought this was the beginning of the end of the crown. Generation after generation after generation after generation, only to find that evil's come back. The same evil of World War II, the same evil of World War I, and all of monarchical history. The crown colonials, the age of empires before USA and Russia as they are today, whether you like them or not. That's my video. Get it shared out. It's the truth. It's valid. It's credible. It's critical knowledge for all Canadians, all First Peoples, and those of the PCC, and those who followed me for a long time who were vetted, even before when I had my Alberta party, even those that reached out. All I'm going to say is it is scary. It's going to get more scary, and we're at a real crossroads here. The time is now. It has to be done. You're all going to get the email April 1st, April Fool's Day. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. The joke is Canada. It's your choice. Just say yay or nay. That's all I ask from all of you. And then we proceed with the education. You'll get the list of chiefs. You'll get the UNSC contact information. You will get the UN Elder Council contact information. Thanks, everybody. Share, share, share. Get it out there. Bye now.